Welcome back to the Night Shift, your safe space for talking about UFOs, UAPs, NHI, disclosure, and everything else your friends, family, and coworkers are so sick and tired of hearing you go on and on about. It's great to be with you. It's Friday. It's 2:10 p.m. on the East Coast. Got a little bit of a late start. Had to, oh, hang on. I've got some feedback.
The audience can't hear that, don't worry.
Okay. The audience, you can't hear it, but I can hear it. It's super annoying. So there's some feedback in my headphones, and that's what's going on. But we have a great show for you today. Shout out to everybody in our chat. Let's see. I see Chris Hovord is there. What's up, Chris? He's the heart and soul of our mod squad. Michael Wells, Brian Park, Geraldine is here. Ebony. Hey, Ebony, what's up? We've got Michael Wells. Hey, Michael. Zoltan's here. Mr. Justin, who's been working on some outstanding night shift. I don't know. Would we say it's a top secret project or just a secret project? Only the people in the Discord know, as far as I know. But the rest of you will find out soon enough. Geraldine's here. Everybody. Joe, Mr. Doubtfire, Obi-Wan Shinobi. Great to see all of you. Thanks for being here on this amazing Friday evening. If you don't mind, please go ahead and hit that like button now. Hit the like button early and often, and it'll go a long way to boosting the stream. And we could really use a strong stream. I think everyone can appreciate that. Joining me today on my panel, he's the wind beneath my wings. He's the musician behind the iconic Night Shift theme music that you hear every single week. And he's the producer of this very live stream. Xander Jones, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Busy week. I've got my biggest fan here. I think my camera angle is revealing a lot tonight. Everyone can see basically what I see in this control room style office that I have.
Your studio is unbelievable. It's super high tech. I've been there. I've seen it, guys. It's like 100 feet long. It's an enormous room. This is just a tiny corner of it.
We've got banks and banks of servers over here to really support all of the stuff.
20 employees behind the camera. They can't see it, but it's a whole thing. There's a whole organization supporting this podcast. He's the host of Others from Another Mother and Rare Form Radio. He's also the master of the Dim Mac Death Touch and Jeremy Corbell's personal security detail. The Peacemaker, Dan Cleary.
Unpaid security guard. Yeah, it sucks, but someone's got to do it.
But you get to hang out.
That's true. I get to learn some cool stuff for sure.
How are you, sir?
Overall, I'm pretty good. Getting ready to do some traveling, so it's a little hectic, but I'm grateful to be with you guys today for sure.
And living the dream. It's great to see you, man. I'm glad everything's going well.
Too. Hell yeah.
And last but absolutely not least, excuse me, is our special guest for today, Moneypenny, a former BBC journalist and well-known voice in both the UK and US UFO communities. Try saying that 5 times fast. She's covered everything from the New Jersey drone sightings to breaking developments in the MH370 case. And before that, she was reporting on COVID, current events, and economics. She's also a self-described science nerd, comes from a military family with a love for aviation, and has a deep interest in the connection between advanced technology and the disclosure movement. Moneypenny, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hot. Sorry, it's in the UK. We don't have AC. All my American friends go, "Why are you so hot? Just put the AC on." Come on, Xander, back me up.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. And the trouble is as well, I've been doing like several interviews this week, and it just coincided with the latest heat wave. So I have to switch the fan off in order to record good audio. So it means that over the course of the hour, I just get progressively more wet.
Yeah, I don't want to respond to that. No, I'm not responding to that. That's on the ground. Whatever I say will be taken out of context.
I was right there with you. Yeah.
Okay, so have you guys? Well, I know Xander and Dan, you saw it. Moneypenny, I don't know if you we're going by Nick or Moneypenny.
Yeah, whichever. Nick's easier, isn't it? It's shorter.
Nick's easier, but Moneypenny's your thing. So, like, all right, we'll go with Nick. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but this video, this AI video we were just talking about in the green room before we went live, I posted it in the chat. Can we show just the video, Xander, without playing the audio?
Yeah, sure.
We'll totally get dinged for the audio, but Tupacabra just posted this on X, and it's an AI-generated sitcom intro called The Whistleblowers, and I'll let the video speak
Oh,
for
yeah,
itself.
he's been doing this for a long time. It's brilliant. It's really good. Really good.
This is not a new thing? He's done more of these?
No, it's not
I've
new. It's
seen
a
it.
whole series. There's been loads and loads of episodes of it.
Oh, my God. This is why I have to spend more
wonderful.
time on X.
It's wonderful.
I thought you said there's 24 episodes. I was like, wait a second.
Yeah, there's
I missed
loads.
them all. Here we go. We can't play. Oh, muted. They'll throw us off YouTube.
Look at that.
Dan, you should put on that. Bum, bum, bum,
Yeah, here we go.
Mothman.
So good.
I think we'll get dinged for this song too.
Oh,
Isn't
yeah,
this
you're
the-
Shit. Let me put on Welcome to the Jungle. Hold on.
Oh my God. I love Hood Greer. This needs
Hood
to be an
Greer.
action figure.
There we go.
There we go.
Oh, no.
Can't
Blue
get dinged for
alien.
copyright if it's yours.
Steve Martin. Oh, Jack Valley.
Jack Valley.
Kind of works with this music.
I like this show better. Is he holding an alligator? I would
will
watch
be a
this show.
This will be a show. It will.
I would watch this.
I would too.
Young Doty.
It looks like Michael Cera.
It does a lot.
I love it.
I mean, this really would, I mean, all kidding aside, would be a funny idea for a TV show.
Yes,
Just a bunch of
they need to
whistleblowers.
bring back the 1990s style sitcoms. I think that's what's missing today. That's why the
This is
world's
what
so
Cooper
fucked
does.
up.
Cooper makes music videos, I gather, for his career. That's what he does.
Oh,
They're
it's so
brilliant.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, it's brilliant. So let's talk about, I don't know. What do we want to talk about? There's a lot going on. You've been making some waves, Moneypenny. How do you want to start today? Should we talk about Ross first? I feel like that's
Sure.
the
Yeah.
big thing. You recently challenged Ross Coulthart, called him out in the public square on the Too Big to Move UFO. Can you tell the audience what that was about and walk us through what happened?
So it's not that I called him out. I was asking him to stop me putting my research out, which I believed could possibly be referring to the same big object that he had been referring to over 2 years ago when he was quite drunk, I think, and had a chat with a guy called Jay. And in this chat, and every few months for 2 years, Ross has gone, I can't tell you. And clearly, I've been a journalist. You've got to protect your sources. You are dead otherwise. No other journalist talks to you if you give your sources away. But, there's only so long. And I kind of think he maybe regrets getting a little bit piddly and putting it out in the first place. Because obviously he's wound up the whole community. And everybody is getting quite with him. So, I mean, I've spoken to Ross before on the phone. I've talked to him a few times. He's really nice. And to be honest, I owe it to him that I got into UFOs. I bought his book, having heard him on the radio years ago. So
Is that
it's
right?
not-
Was that the beginning of what got you into this?
yeah, in plain sight. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I heard him interviewed and then I bought the book and that's how I got into it. So I owe him quite a bit really in that way. But yeah, so I wanted to put my research out. I had seen his interview. I didn't like the way he treated Jesse Michaels, to be honest. That upset me. So I did my challenge and said, you've got, first of all, 3 hours to stop me putting it out, because if it is a national security thing, if I had got, and I still don't know, if I had found the same massive UFO with a building built over it that he had done, and he knew a particular national security reason why it would be devastating if I mentioned it, I wanted him to contact me. Problem is, he was also in Australia. So it got to the stage where the 3 hours was up. I'd emailed him, texted him, phoned him, every form of contact I had, and no response. So I did look at it and think, oh no, somebody mentioned he's in Australia. So I thought, right, I'll put it to a poll. I'll let the audience decide. So I did a poll. And of course, all of them went, put it out. So I put it out 4.5 hours, I think, after initially doing it. And then I had to basically get a whole deluge of people asking questions because I'd got 3 or 4 different videos, presentation, all these bits.
Well,
that
and the
went with my
location for people
research.
who haven't followed the tweets, where did your research
So it's in
lead you?
Nebraska. It's OFFUTT, which interestingly enough, that name has also got the word UFO in it. The Oversight military base, STRATCOM base. It's the main nuclear military headquarter base near Omaha in the United States.
And what happened after this? When you put it out and people started to blow you up, what was the reaction like?
So I didn't expect anything like that reaction. To be honest, my X account has been censored for a long while because I used to say things about COVID that you weren't allowed to say on social media. And I didn't realize how much of an impact it would have, but it did have a big impact. And it was full on, absolutely mental, with people phoning me up, messaging me, and podcasts and YouTubers all wanting me to come on and do this, that, and the other. And it was just a wild, great big rush. And it was difficult because I made some big mistakes that I realized I shouldn't have done. I should not have mentioned ChatGPT 5. Do you know, people take it for granted that if you use ChatGPT 5, that it's like there with a little robot and it's feeding it all in a spoon in your mouth and you don't do the work. That was a big mistake. I should have said that I did it all myself because all I use ChatGPT for is things like, can you aggregate the world's UFO data for me in 3 seconds? Because I can't do that myself. Those are the sorts of things I use it for. And actually, when I first said, right, I want to look at all military bases, I want to look at nuclear, I want to look at electromagnetic protection, I want to look at anything that has got a security level of XYZ, it's got to have more than 3 floors, it's got to be established as something that has an avionic base that has had the TR-3B, the B-20, and various other craft that have been seen there before. And by a process of narrowing things down like that, that's how I was using ChatGPT to get it to take a huge amount of data, take every base. I went through architects, I went through the geologists, I went through the structure of where you would build a base that would potentially need that very low electromagnetic, radiation protected environment, which it turns out it has all of those. It has what's called a bathtub, which is a steel room within a room. And that bathtub has something called PEM, which is electromagnetic protection, but it also has a lot of additional security, radiation, electromagnetic protection that were not the same as any other military base other than what we call bunkers, nuclear bunkers. So that was quite unusual. But of course, the main hook, the main reason that I still am determined that this is correct is because on the 21st of August, 2015, a 750-foot triangular UFO came on the base. It was reported through a Newport report. It was reported traveling at an altitude of 2,000 meters, I think. It was traveling at 40 to 60 knots in a southwesterly direction through the base. It was seen for over 3 minutes, and it was reported in great detail from somebody who clearly had to either be military or avionic, ATC trained, and it never crashed and it never left the base as such. It did what most military people would say is it winked out, which can simply mean it deployed some sort of cloaking, possibly. We don't know. But what we do know is that exactly the same day that happened, the same day this 750-foot massive craft arrived, a construction project which had been ongoing for a long time changed that day. And they put in a massive demand for hundreds and thousands, over £500,000, I think it was from memory, And they massively changed the plans and suddenly extended the construction by a huge amount.
Interesting.
Hmm.
So you used ChatGPT to parse through reams of data.
Yeah.
But through a process of elimination, you were able to arrive at Offutt Air Force Base in Nebraska as the location because of these unique security setups and electromagnetic facilities they have on. So when you posted that, now has Ross responded to any of this, to your
No,
knowledge?
nothing.
Has anybody else responded to say, yeah, I think you're right, or no?
Quite a few, yeah. I'm actually talking to a couple of people that work on the base, people that live in Omaha near the base, I'm in veterans groups, alumni groups of people that used to work there. So there's a lot of other stuff that has come up that is, I say, suspicious, unusual, anomalous since I found that. Going back into the records, if you look at the Schellenberger report that was put out in Congress in November of 2024, when Schellenberger had his Pentagon leak, in the Schellenberger document is an actual reference to Offutt Air Force Base. Now, it's referred because, I'm sorry, I'm not good on names, the gentleman's name, who in 1952-57 put out a report about the Offutt Base, particularly because of giant UFO activity. Now, also, I then went into various other, newly classified, declassified files and found it became a pattern. But not only was it a pattern of UFOs and particularly triangle UFOs arriving, I also found evidence that they would return. And I wondered if we could play the clip that I've given from Josh Polarity, who does a fantastic analysis and explains particularly why that is relevant. I don't know if Sanders got it, but it would help.
Yeah, I have it. I think Josh Polarity. Here we go.
Yeah.
Just give me 10 seconds.
And everyone in the chat, go ahead and hit that like button. We're at 133 likes. Let's see if we can get it up to north of 200. I think we can do that.
In addition, as well, if you have questions for Moneypenny, if you join our Discord, we have a whole section for live questions, and I'm going to keep monitoring that. How difficult do you want the questions to be, Moneypenny?
Very difficult.
Very
I deserve
difficult.
to have very difficult questions.
She wants the most difficult questions that you could think of. So please, let her have it. Right, here's the Josh Polarity clip.
50-foot triangular UFO. This is interesting is because she's obviously highlighted here in blue that a 750-foot triangular UFO was reported within the perimeter of this base on the same day, right? Now, she didn't include that UFO report though, but I've got it, so I'll show it to you in just a second. But first, let's just actually take a look at this place, right? So the Strategic Command Office is in Offutt Air Force Base in Nebraska, which is interesting, right? Because at least for me, I consider myself like relatively well-versed in this stuff. I've never heard this place come into the conversation before. So when we search it on Google Earth and we zoom in here, this is Offutt Air Force Base. Looks like a pretty, normal area. This area here, though, specifically, is the Strategic Command Office. Now, you can see that if we just jump back over here quickly, she did circle this for us. So you can see here, so this is Offutt Air Force Base and the United States Strategic Command Center. So again, just to be clear, there's Offutt Air Force Base, and if we zoom in to where she circled on her post, you can see here we have the United States Strategic Command Center. Now, you saw that I just searched this plane on Google Earth right now, and we get this image, which is a construction site. And you can see there's a lot of things. It's quite a big construction site. And this is the area that she's referencing. Now, I don't understand why it's like this, because when you click the historical imaging here, it brings us to 2025, and this is actually what it looks like now. Okay, it's finished. This isn't a construction site anymore. It's finished being built, and it has been for a long time. if we just kind of go back a few years, you can see that. So that's kind of interesting. And we're going to keep going back further in the years in a moment. But first, let's just take a look at the actual UFO sighting that she referenced. So the 21st of August, 2015, reference number 121393 on New Fork. So if we jump over to the New Fork sighting, 121393, we can see this occurred on the 21st of August, 2015. It was reported the following day, observed for 3 minutes by one person only, which is kind of crazy when we're talking about a 700-foot triangle in the sky at, well, you know, it wasn't far away from midnight, but still, you know, you would think maybe more than one person would see that. But anyway, let's keep going. Shape, triangle. Characteristics, aura or haze around the object. Large triangular-shaped object, estimated to be 500 to 750 feet across. Gold-colored, moving slowly, no sound. Item was first sighted while on Offutt Air Force Base, looking west, at an approximate altitude of 2,000 feet, at a distance of approximately 2 miles from Offutt. It was first considered a possible slow-moving aircraft in the traffic pattern.
750 feet.
It's pretty big.
That's 3 747s.
2.5 football fields.
But if that craft was seen moving, then that can't be if they built a building over it, doesn't that mean that it cannot be moved? And
No.
that's why it's being concealed under they put a building over it because they had to conceal it.
Yeah. So actually, we didn't see the part of that video that I was thinking of. Not to worry, but the point is that it tracks it on the. Well, he didn't bring up the New Fork report, did he, to show you? Anyway, if you see the New Fork report, I could probably read it if you want me to read it to you. But anyway, at the end of the New Fork report, there's no crash, there's no great big drama, there's no termination like that. It just literally, it's tracked along, I think it's Fort Crook Road or something, and it turns onto another road. I mean, bearing in mind, it's very low, but it's still, you know, flying at the moment. And then it's very, very low, and it winks out in an area where there's an intersection of two roads with a big triangular piece of what looks like mushy, mossy grass with nothing on it at that intersection. Now, obviously, if this is the whole story that Polarity Josh comes up with, which is fascinating. If this, okay, swallow this one. If it was a scheduled meeting, if this was something that was expected, if this Air Force base, part of the American government, had expected this, it would explain why the person that reported it was somebody who worked in air traffic control, who described this on a New Fork report by putting the altitude, the size, the speed, the destination. He wrote the speed in knots. He judged the size of 5 to 750, whatever it was, when it was at 2 miles away. I mean, who can do that normally? You've got to be pretty well trained to do that. And more to the point, when it comes to a stop or winks out, it is then cloaked like an F-22 is cloaked or an F-17 is cloaked or whatever it might be. It wouldn't be seen. It's gone midnight. There's a massive, great big thing that could just cloak and stay there for however long on a piece of grass that nobody touches. I mean, you know, it sounds fanciful. I know it sounds fanciful, but there are some incredible oddities about this. And the coincidence with an immediate request for lots of extra money and a massive extension. This construction had been going on that base for many years. And the other thing that drew me to it when I was breaking down bases is the last thing you would do if you were building a beautiful, huge new house that was going to cost you millions is build it on a floodplain. A floodplain that has got really high levels of radon and other sort of nuclear emitting type substances on this area. You wouldn't do that, but that's what they did. Sure enough, by 2019, half of the base is flooded, but the underground 2 floors, the 26 skiffs on this place, 26 skiffs below ground, okay? There are so many weird anomalies to this. And also the fact that, well, as he explained, the Google Earth cover-up. I'm on a different IP. I'm in England. My whole Google Earth went blurry, got covered up the same day. By coincidence, probably, I don't know. But also, I've got here, Nebraska station captures UFO on live TV. This is posted on my X profile. So I've got a number of these. This one is from November the 17th, 2013. Lincoln recently captured a UFO on its live power cam during its 6 a.m. news. And this was reported, and it had a video, which has now been withdrawn from this Nebraska TV station, again, of this huge, great big object.
Well, you posted was there a recreation that you posted on your X account?
Oh, it's just an AI video of showing you the size in comparison to what the base would be.
But are you saying that that Offutt Air Force Base is the location of the too big to move UFO because this building is located where a building should not be, and it just doesn't make logical sense that it would be there?
The building is the exact size, the floor plate size of the 750 triangle. It was built rapidly with extra money. The building is worth more than the Pentagon. And all of this is extremely anomalous.
I mean, that sounds like where you would store a UFO, but my question would be if it was spotted in flight, then it can move. So you could just move it anywhere, really. You could put it inside a volcano if you wanted to. Like, why build a building on top of it, in other words, if you can just fly it anywhere?
Well, I don't know whether we could fly anywhere. We don't know that bit. The biggest problem
and just to speculate, I mean, unless that's just a different craft, and that one was flying, but there's another craft that is. My thinking is that when he says there's a UFO that's so big they can't move it, it means that they can't get it. They can't operate it. They can't activate it. They can't switch it on. It can't get it to do anything. It's stuck in place. They don't have the logistical power to get enough people in to move it without it being seen. So you put a building on top of it and you work on it there, but it's not out. It wouldn't be spotted flying around the base or flying around anywhere.
Somebody spotted it flying around the base, didn't they? Somebody did. I mean, at least, you can't, as Josh said, you wouldn't just have one person see a 750-foot gold glowing bloody triangle over a military base. Were they all blind?
Well, you can. I mean, historically we know that UFOs can decide who sees it and who doesn't. So that is something historically that is in the lore, that it can decide one person.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that you said that it cost more than the Pentagon to build this thing, and the Pentagon was built in the 30s or 40s, I think. And it was just under $100 million, which is a lot. So in modern day, that's like a couple $1 billion, $1.5 billion. And you can't really build something rapidly. You know what I mean? Like you said they built it quickly.
Well, some of it had already been built, you see. They were mid-construction when this thing happened.
Sure,
which also kind of indicates maybe they were expecting it and they were sort of building the garage ready.
Right. But I mean, changing plans like that is such a massive undertaking.
Yeah, and it's in print in the government report.
Right. And then also, I mean, the most obvious question I have for you is Ross stated very clearly that this thing was not in the United States.
Yeah.
Nebraska obviously is in the U.S. What is that misunderstanding, or what's the issue there?
Many people have theorized that Ross is so terrified because he keeps saying it's so sensitive that he might well have just lied to deflect, the attention that it might well have been in the United States, or what I think is more realistic, because he was talking about UK, Australia, United States tripartite military agreement, which we're all aware of. I think the object he's referring to is probably in a place called Exmouth, or one of there's 3 or 4 places it could be in Australia. And there are, I think, at least I've found 4 that I would say are categorically possibly. I don't think this is a one-off. I think it is very likely the United States have been concealing UFOs for quite a while. And this is one of 4 sites. South Korea, the one that Greer has identified, being one. Australia, Ross Coulthart's one, potentially being the other. The Nebraska one, I'm taking ownership of it for now. And then we obviously have Wales in the United Kingdom, which Xander probably is aware of, which again was a giant triangular, Pentrith who I know the person, Kaz Clark, who viewed that one. So I'm quite interested in that one. But I don't think this is a one-off, I'm saying. I think there's a hell of a lot that's hidden. I think when you see also Jim Schneider talking about DUNBs, underground bases, when you look at the testimony, and I hope that Xander has got this clip of the Canadian Defence Minister that
Paul
spoke
Hellyer.
out a couple of years ago, but you weren't able to watch it. But AI has recreated the video where he is interviewed. This is the Canadian Minister of Defence who talks openly about, firstly, a communication going on for a long time between the United States and extraterrestrial civilizations. He also talks about the DUMBs. He talks about all the networks of connection, and he talks about lots and lots of not just craft, but also organics, life that has been retrieved over, the decades, the centuries, whatever it is, and that it is, a big unhidden secret with lots of reverse engineering, all the Lockheed Martin, type stuff. And it is all something that it's just being covered up, and we're made to look like idiots. That's why we want disclosure.
I agree with that assessment. I think Paul Hellyer and Jaime Shed, if you look at those two, plus Carl Nell, plus, Phil Corso, you start to add up the list of people who have said similar things, or if you made a Venn diagram of everyone's claims, there's a part in the middle, and that's where I like to live. And it's just, there are too many highly placed people saying these things. I'm curious, though, just to take a step back from this, Nick, as a journalist and someone who's worked in this space for quite some time, what is your opinion, or what is your take on the media landscape surrounding this issue right now? Because it seems like I have questions about Ross and News Nation and their motivation of how they're fit into the UFO narrative to begin with, but also the way it's kind of permeated into the mainstream. And the mainstream media still has a difficult time handling this, even though it's on Joe Rogan and it's getting, tens of millions of views everywhere someone appears. What's your take on the media landscape right now and how this is all being covered and reported?
Well, I mean, going back to, the time I was at the BBC is more than 20 years ago, but anything like this, you would be given a certain notice. The British government and the US government in the same way. You could write it as a comic piece, a speculative piece. You could put nice big pictures of green aliens on it. But the minute you start taking it seriously, it has to. When you're a journalist, your piece that you submit goes through your sub-editor, your editor, and then all the way up to the publisher, who's the one that has the money coming in from the advertisers. And if there's any risk of breaking any laws, the legal team comes in. Either way, you've got 5 layers that will squash it before it gets to the paper. So I think there has been a legal notice for many years to prevent that sort of thing. And that over COVID, those notices became formidable. So much so that we know that there were members of the intel agencies put onto the boards of very prominent media companies to bring in, the most drastic censorship we've ever had. So I think what's happened is we've lifted off from COVID. Everybody is a bit war weary. And the journalists, a lot of them have left. Those that are left are freelancers, and they want to write truth. And they want, a lot of them, to be sympathetic with people who've got causes that have never been listened to before. And that is an appetite that is a global one. We just had the Condign report published in the UK, which is the largest UFO report ever published, that goes back years and years, that came out of a FOIA. And that report is from the Military of Defence in the United Kingdom and details thousands of UFOs that would never have gone out, and now it's come out. And look what's happening in the States. I mean, you guys, everything seems to be coming out, doesn't it? We just need a final push. If nothing else, what happened with, Luna Lady, as I call her, what Beatriz is doing. I mean, it's just fantastic. Hopefully more and more of this pressure will keep it up. And the journalists will be, they'll be forced into covering it.
We have a question from the Discord. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. Clow Low. You asked for a hard question, so here you go. If, as Ross claims, revealing the location would put unaware people's lives in mortal danger, are you prepared to accept this risk and also take responsibility for anything that happens as a result?
So, I gave him every opportunity, first of all, to come back to me. I think it's highly unlikely it was the same object. I don't think there is anything in what I have put out that is any bigger than what the Canadian Minister of Defence and Roy Schneider and all these other whistleblowers have all put out before. And the whole point is, most of my community are very upset with Ross and other people who, like him, give teasing little, oh, I know what's going on, but I'm not going to tell you. And to be honest, I am one of these people that I just think, you've been playing with a lot of stories and a lot of games and a lot of, people pretending to be ill during skiffs, or, US Congress deciding that they're not going to tell anything at a disclosure meeting because it's too dangerous. And it's all pussyfooting around. And quite honestly, I want to push that disclosure bandwagon. I think we've deserved the truth.
Well, first of all, it's not pussyfooting. These people's lives are in danger if they talk about these things. So to say they're pussyfooting and that they're just like not taking it seriously is a little bit, it's a little bit much, don't you think? I mean, this is a very, very serious topic for people that are working on it directly.
Yeah, I was referring to the media.
Oh, I thought you meant the whistleblowers and folks.
No,
yeah, come on, whistleblowers, stop.
Yeah, come on, pussies.
Man up.
The media. I mean, so Ross in particular has made this his thing. Like this, he has inserted himself into this conversation and become the center of it. Much like Lou Elizondo and a few other people who took this on as their cause. And which is great, and it's respectable. And George Knapp blazed the trail, and there's a long list of people who have done this. And I just wonder, though, especially with Ross drip feeding little hints and clues and these breadcrumbs like he's been doing, is that an influence campaign? Is that how do we know that he's not being fed misinformation and then just passing it on to us with a wink and a nod, like? Mm-hmm. Oh, I wish I could tell you more, but
Yeah.
I feel like we're being played, and I think that's the thing that like inherently annoys me about this whole situation. What you said about just drip feeding little bits and pieces and all of this, like, I don't know, sort of clever dancing around the issue. If you've got something to say, then say it. If you don't have something to say, then don't fucking say it. But stop cock teasing everybody, Ross. This is my feeling. Like every week now, it's like, I've got some new information and it's going to blow your socks off. And it's
that was the phrase I wanted to use. Thank you for saying that, Clint. I couldn't say.
I mean, that's the thing, right? It's like, this is it. This is what burns people out. This is why people get tired of the whole mess. Like, I don't think I get the sense that this national security excuse is so overused. I bet probably 9 times out of 10, it's completely unnecessary when they're like, oh, well, people's lives are in danger. Well, maybe. But maybe not. Like we say everything is protected because of national security over here. Like how you can't just have a get out of jail free card that you can use anytime. Like that doesn't make sense. It can't be like that. So I'm split. I'm sort of with you on calling it out and sort of pushing the conversation forward. But I do understand the need for secrecy and protecting sources. It's a fine needle to thread.
I kind of liken it to trying to push a freight train along. Like, you can push as hard as you want. Also, I feel like, I don't know why, maybe it's because we've got Moneypenny on, but I feel like there's more innuendos tonight than normal. What did you say? You said something like 20 minutes ago. You said, swallow this. That was it.
We need that hot dog GIF or GIF.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I think genuinely like we've got a situation where everyone is really excited about a lot of different things at all times, and they do genuinely want to tell us absolutely everything they know. But there has to be a certain order things are done, and if we're to believe that this is all real, and as Dan said, there's genuine lives at stake. It's really hard to like. This feels like half the time everything just feels like entertainment, and I don't. Ultimately, it's if it's real, it's not entertainment. It is legitimately people have been killed over this stuff. I don't want to die, like for revealing any of this information. I don't want to accidentally stumble across it.
When I put it out last week. You expect some antagonistic responses. Absolutely. Anybody that does research will get huge amounts of criticism, particularly when you're researching a sector where you can never prove anything. But, when it gets personal, and you think of the last, female sort of whistleblower, she's no longer with us, God bless her. There are very few people, and a lot of people said to me, be careful with your life. I honestly think if there are not researchers, maybe a bit like myself, who go and push barriers and try and get the information and try and, in no way hurting anybody, but going through declassified records, speaking to people, pushing questions, whatever it might be. If we didn't have researchers who are pushing the barriers, then we might as well all just sit there and say, well, it's our own fault we haven't got disclosure because nobody's even bothering trying. I just think somebody's got to bother trying. Otherwise, maybe just say, I'll put my head in the sand and give up.
Do you think, though, that some of the people that we are looking towards for these answers, people like Ross, are being deliberately used to spread misinformation? Like this whole Tic Tac Lockheed Martin thing. There was a big switchover from the previous story, and now this sounds like what Stephen Greer has been saying for you. It's like there's these shifting tides, and then it seems like the whole space kind of shifts over the span of like a week, and then we're all talking about something else, and then I can't help but feel like it's being managed. The narrative is being managed in some way. I can't prove it, but I get that sense. I agree with you, though. I mean, someone's got to push for disclosure. It's important to stay on it. But
I mean, the whole Doki thing just took over UFO Twitter for, God knows, probably the last year. Is it Miracle Men or whatever it was? Literally, you don't know who you can trust. There are many people, particularly online, who I believe are influencers or maybe, working with other agencies. There's a lot of confusion, which puts a lot more pressure on the people that are real because you never know how to prove it. But I think it is intense. But the thing is, we know back to paperclip, we know back to 1950, 52. There are documents, I've got some on my profile, that are literally Project Sign, Project Sign, Sigma, Grudge, all those projects that were deliberately about, misconception, deliberately about this is how we are going to fool the public. The engineers that came from Germany, that came over and recruited by the United States and ended up, sending America to the moon with all its amazing technology. I mean, it was all part of a great big psyop, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to argue that. I think that's correct.
Another hard question. This is just a change of direction here from the Discord, from Out of Wards. Hard question. Why do you think Ross and Bryce split? What is your conspiracy theory?
Because of the Lockheed thing, I think. I think
that was a weird moment, wasn't it? When he's like, whoa, what's happening here? What's happening here?
Bryce said, okay, and pushed back his chair and wouldn't let it go. And then he kept talking about it on Twitter, asking people, like, what do you think about what Ross said? Like, I think he first of all, he was a co-host who was blindsided with information by his other co-host, which is like, I feel like he felt like he was it was sprung on him. And he should have been told about that before Ross let it slip on the air. But I think that was it might have just been a wedge that pushed them apart. It seemed like that everything changed after that with their interactions. Yep.
I mean, to get Dolan to be your co-host.
He likes that dramatic one-liner, don't you think, Ross? He likes I know exactly where it is, but I can't tell you. In the same way with, I know exactly. Didn't he say, I know 99% that is a Lockheed Martin
categorically.
ship?
He said categorically.
Yeah.
And that's not journalism. I'm sorry. That's sensationalist bullshit. That's what we do on YouTube. That's our job. We spin up a bunch of clickbait. Ross, you're supposed to be a reporter. It's supposed to be boring. It's supposed to be boring. This whole like one-liner, looking into the camera, Crocodile Dundee memes and all this shit. I feel like that's drinking the YouTube Kool-Aid, and it's saying like, well, I want to be in on this, and I want to have something to, if you have secrets, then you're always in demand. Everybody wants to interview you and talk to you. I mean, it might just be that, I don't know, if you've got something to say, report it.
But that's
I
also
think
that's the world
what's
we live
causing
in.
resistance. That's why people are really going off, Ross, at the moment a lot. We call it cloud chasing or clickbaiting or whatever you want to call it. He is extra dramatizing every little bit of information that he thinks he's the only person in the world that has it, you know?
Well, and it's not that other people don't do it, because like George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell do it, but they come with receipts. They're like, oh yeah, guess what? Here it is. You want to see the right here. And there's something to back it up. I feel like with Ross though, it's always the next story. It's the next interview. It's the next, just around the corner, just over the next hill.
To be fair though, Ross did give us David Grush and Jake Barber, 2 incredible interviews. And I also think him planting these things, look at us. I mean, it keeps us talking. It keeps people talking about the topic. It makes, this fervor online where we can't stop guessing about what he talked about. So it's clickbaity a little bit, but it also gets people talking, which is important.
I think I've got 2 options. I can either know absolutely nothing, or I can know that there is potentially a giant UFO buried somewhere. I can't know where that is. Cool, that's whatever. But I'd rather know that than absolutely nothing. And if that is literally all he can give us right now, fine. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to believe it, obviously. I will find it interesting and we can talk about it. But yeah, I'm not going to say that it's real or anything. Ross would have to prove it, and he knows that.
Well, he's in a similar situation now that Stephen Greer is in, in that sense that Greer has been out there for 25 years saying the exact same thing. He's like, I know where all the bodies are buried. I know all the secrets. I know it all. And it would just blow your fucking minds, but I can't tell you. But if I die, all of it will be released immediately. Like, okay, I've got a dead man switch. So what is this? We're just going to watch the Stephen Greer show for the next 25 years and go, you know what I mean? Like, that's okay. Well, then I'm out. Like, I don't have that kind of time. Yeah. There's got to be this has to build to something. It has to have some kind of a resolution attached to it. Otherwise, it's just spinning wheels. And I agree with, the sense that you have to keep the conversation going to some degree, but this clickbaity stuff every week, it's tiresome. It's exhausting, and people do get burnt out on it.
But like I said, that is also the world we live in now. That is just how. Look at politics. Yeah. Look at U.S. politics. It's all memes and gifs and like one-upping and showboating and getting up on your own stage. It's kind of just a nature of how we are now, which sucks. It's not the way it should be, but that's who we are.
Yeah, agreed.
Speaking of clickbait, do you want to watch the representative Anna Paulina Luna saying that there are interdimensional beings?
Let's move on to Luna on Rogan, because we're about an hour into the show, so let's go there.
Do we need to provide context for this?
Oh yeah, because not everybody watches.
Well, Joe Rogan is a podcaster in Austin, Texas.
He also fancies himself something of Funnyman.
Yeah,
Maris Funnyman.
You might know him from news radio.
I remember.
He did this show called Fear Factor.
Fear Factor ruled.
It was good, yeah. Right, here you go.
You said that you've seen evidence. Like, what kind of evidence have you seen?
I have seen photos. I have seen...
what have you seen photos of?
So I was in a skiff, and I can't discuss all that was in a skiff, but what I can tell you is based on the photos that I've seen, I'm very confident that there's things out there that have not been created by mankind.
It seems crazy that people have access to information that shows that there's something outside of us that is more intelligent, at least more capable than we are, and they hide it from everybody else.
And she's one of those people that is hiding it from everybody else because she's just been told about it.
She goes on to say, isn't it in that same, there's like a 15-minute block where they get into this. She says that was she told that they're interdimensional beings by someone, or was she connecting the dots and concluding that?
I don't know for sure. I think she said that she's been told by someone who has seen evidence that it's interdimensional. I think. I could be wrong. But how do you have evidence? Like, how do you take a photograph of something? I'm curious.
Well, Eric, is it Eric Weinstein or Weinstein? However you pronounce it. He Cole actually
Weinstein
showed me this after I apparently said the same thing. Somebody at some point needs to tell me what interdimensional being means, because it seems to make sense in terms of movies where we see like these beings coming through portals and it's like, oh cool, interdimensional. I very much doubt that is what that seems to be like our interpretation of how that might look rather than what it probably looks like. So yeah, I just want somebody to tell me. I'm fine with us broadening the term to NHI for us to say we don't. It's just non-human intelligence. Cool, that's very encompassing. If it's not aliens, fine. It's non-human intelligence. But now you're saying it's interdimensional beings, and that needs a definition with it. At this point,
there's an interesting
science.
There's an interesting take on this that I just thought of. You just reminded me of what David Jacobs said about this, and he says it in this. There's this. I in my head, it's a famous interview. No one else has seen it but me. But it's Richard Dolan interviewing David Jacobs, and he says in there, he's like, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter where they come from. It doesn't matter at all. You're never going to go there. You're never going. Don't even. It's not going to happen. But what matters is they're here. What the fuck are they doing here? Why are they here? Why are they taking people? What is this whole abduction thing? Like, what are the agreements we have? We need to be worrying about like this place right now and what the activity is. And I thought that was a really interesting take, because people do get hung up on, is it interdimensional from another planet?
I heard you guys talking about this on your last episode, and I think I agree with you. I think it was mostly that was saying it. I'm sorry, I can't remember. I don't think, until it is proven otherwise, that we should be in terror of our lives by some malevolent beings. We are bad enough or good enough at killing each other and committing genocide and having wars everywhere and setting off nuclear bombs and using electromagnetic weapons. And we have absolutely no evidence at all that these things are, after our blood, so to speak. And it's highly more likely that they are a great deal more intelligent than us, a great deal more advanced than us. And the big difference, I think, when she talks about interdimensional beings, is I think we have to get the mindset that life does not have to be organic. We look at life because we are within an organic life structure. But we look at plasma, which, as you know, is one of my big things. It is all about energy. It is all about sound waves, light waves, brain waves, frequencies, resonance. All these things make a life form that we know Alexander the Great reported, and is in every 6 or 7 different types of religious texts. All talk about the glowing light above, the whole divinity of this. And I know it's, deeply unsettling for some people to think about it, but we have a sentient life form around us that was deeply, in vogue in November over New Jersey and other places. And we are completely neglecting, we are already living alongside a non-organic, intelligent life form.
Do you think do you remember that NASA STS, was it STS-75? What was the name of that mission where they had the tether? They had a 25-mile long tether, and they show the video of that, and you can see these little, like, they look like amoebas, like kind of blobbing around like this and shooting around. Is that a plasma being?
That's them.
A plasmoid.
Well, I have a new name for them that is plasmates, which luckily Chris Bledsoe kind of agrees with, because the plasmoid is more a group of magnetically held ionized energy. Okay. Whereas the plasmate, my definition, or the difference I give it, is that it has the intelligence, the sentience, the organizational, the replication, the reproduction, all that facility that makes it the entity. That's why I have the plasmate as the entity. But yes, that is exactly what it was. Now, look, that was in January this year. I think it was 24th of January, 2025. Paper came out from the Institute of Physics, and it managed to do it because there'd been a FOIA request on NASA, which had batted away for God knows how long. But it goes back to 1991 on 10 different space shuttle missions. And on these missions, they had been taking long video mass photographs. They had been looking even at things like the neural structure. They had been comparing even, don't take this too far, but they'd been taking reptilians and lizards and things and looking at the neural structure, the vertebrate and the invertebrate structures on a biological scale, comparing them to these plasmate entities. They'd known about them for decades and decades. And then I found the same in Russian files, Turkish files, Iranian files, Italian files. This has been the biggest global secret, that we have other living entities that have been there since far as back as we know, and probably predated and probably created all organic life, including ourselves.
For people who are watching, if you were just watching that video that we had up, that's STS-75 NASA shuttle mission. You can go find this. This is actually this clip that I'm showing, or we just showed, isn't on NASA's page, but this is an official NASA video, and you can source it from them if you like. And those beings, those little things, I don't know if you could put that back up, Xander. It looks like you're looking at a slide under a microscope of like pond water. But that line in the middle is actually a 25-mile long tether in space. And this is what you're seeing fly by. This looks like little particles flying by. Those are things out there in space around Earth that are huge. These are huge objects. And they're moving behind the tether. That's the thing that's kind of the weird giveaway here.
And a couple change direction. A couple change direction.
They move in tribes. There's 4 different types of them. You get the grazers, you get the divers. There are different types of them in the same way. We have tribes and aptitudes to do different things. So there's ones they send off to go and eat because they're eating, that they're feeding on the electromagnetic energy. You've even seen videos, one of which came from NASA as well, where you see this spherical object, not dissimilar to the ones you can see there, but much larger, sucking off the sun. It's almost like the tube coming off the sun, and it is sucking off
You're
it.
killing us here. You're killing us.
Jesus Christ, lady.
We're
sucking off the sun. My God.
I've seen that
Lucky boy.
picture. That was the...
I'm a son. Whatever.
Oh my God. All right. Reel it in, guys. Reel it in.
I'm only under my desk because I'm trying to plug in my power lead. That's the only reason I'm underneath my desk.
Okay. So the plasma thing, I mean, that STS-75 video, there was a paper that came out, I wouldn't say like a year or two ago. We talked about it here briefly. And it was a group of researchers who were basically saying the same thing. They were like, yeah, there's these plasma is a form of life, or it can be organized in some form that we would call life. And that's why you hear some people like Lou Elizondo do this little dance where they're like, well, what is life really? And you're like, is there alien life out there? Well, life, it's all how you define life. We just call it nature. But I do think there's something to that. And that's what Chris Bledsoe is supposedly seeing, right? These plasma beings.
Yeah, and he's tracked with his daughter as well. There's quite a few interesting shows. Just one thing I'll point out is the actual frequency that these things can be tracked on is a frequency that is outlawed by the US military. It is one of those frequencies you are not allowed to transmit, track on, whatever. And it is that frequency on this particular show with Chris Bledsoe and his daughter, where they effectively are summoning or talking, everything is done through the mind, as you know, with these plasmates.
The implications of that are pretty astonishing, because if you can communicate mentally with these beings and they're already here and they're all around the planet, and there's thousands and thousands of them, then what happens if people start doing this all over the world? What are we dealing with? They
are doing it. There's a lot of people. There are whole groups on TikTok and social media of people that talk and have relationships with their plasmates, that return to their house, that come over their house almost every night, that bring friends along. These things, I am not kidding, they are mischievous. They are also very good at mimicking. They can mimic because they're morphological. They will mimic other objects. They will look like a UAV. They will look like an airplane.
You've put out a bunch of videos talking about this. Is this what you would think was going on in the New Jersey drone flap of last year? Was the people who thought they were seeing these clunky, weird car-sized drones, they were actually seeing a plasma thing that was camouflaging itself to look like a drone?
I believe that by the time we got to the second week of November, every man and a dog, every hobbycraft, every UAV, everything was up there. But I believe that initially it was the plasmates. And I can explain this quickly and logically. Here in the UK, the first sighting of mass amounts of these objects was in the United Kingdom over 3 military bases where we have your nuclear assets. Okay, and they arrived about the 20th, 21st of November, about the time.
Lakenheath.
Yes, well, there's 3, Mildenhall, and there's another one. There's 3 bases that are all, they've all got your assets. And they're all very close together, very, very close together. And so it began with those, with the plasmates, which would come towards nuclear energy because electromagnetic nuclear energy, obviously that's what they do. And then when it happened in New Jersey, near a lot of your military nuclear sites and all the rest of it, of course, every man and a dog wanted to go to Hobby Lobby and buy and build something. But the bit I discovered, the bit I'm very proud of discovering, is I got the physical contracts of something like 11.3 billion US dollar spending on UAV technology with 400 military contractors that took place in 2024 that was signed by the Biden administration that told them to put them up in November over the certain places. It told them pretty much to do an air show, to confuse, to mimic, to get the ones that were plasma sheathed, to get the ones that did optical refraction, to get the laser propulsion ones. These are ones that are propelled by a laser coming down or a laser coming up that don't have any moving parts. They don't have noise. They're not hydrocopters wearing cloaks. They're nothing like that. So as a result, the US military basically tried to diffuse what I believe were the entities, the plasma entities, by putting in their most advanced, crazy advanced technology, the Lockheed stuff that had been hidden. It was all brought out and put in the air. I honestly believe that was it.
That is an interesting idea.
I don't completely disagree with that. I think some of that makes some sense.
Yeah, the contracts I have, I published them. I did it went viral when I did it. I did the first movie because I got physical contracts, literally stating the dates in November that Lockheed, Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, Kratos, all these people were told, get them up. The whole of Skunk Works and everything were told to get their most advanced things and get them in the air. So, and yet everybody stood there. We don't know anything about it. Congress, we don't know anything about it. It was just, crazy, frustrating.
Have you seen this video, guys, of the ball lightning that turns into 3 small orbs in the field in Alberta? This was about a month ago. This video is crazy. I've got it. I don't know, Xander, if you can put this on the screen here. Okay, watch this. So they're saying this is ball lightning, but you'll notice when this thing clicks out, it turns into 3 small orbs that are in a triangle shape. And here, watch this for just a sec. I'll turn the volume
up. We saw the ball of fire kind of retain, 20 feet above the ground.
The cell phone video was captured an hour northwest of Edmonton by Ed and Melinda Party. It shows the ball of light for about 20 seconds before it disintegrates. They were under a tornado watch and experiencing a thunderstorm Wednesday evening. Emitted by Ed and Melinda Party. It shows the ball of light for about 20 seconds before it disintegrates. They were under a tornado.
Oh, I missed it by a frame. I was off by 1 frame.
There's one on my profile that is amazing. Same thing, ball lightning, like this sort of thing. Might even be the same one.
It's interesting, except I made a decision about 2 months ago that I will no longer believe any new videos. And unfortunately, this is a new video, but it is interesting. Remember, we talked about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're in a post.
Everything is AI. Everything
video
is AI.
Doesn't mean shit anymore, but that is cool. But it's fake,
that might. So the question is, if you've got beings that are made of plasma, living sentient beings in the atmosphere, in high atmosphere and low Earth orbit.
Well, they could be at room level. They could be walking around in your house, literally. Some of them become bipedal. They will look from a distance just like a person, only maybe a little bit more translucent or luminescence. If you look at the report from the Russians that I've got on my profile on X, that'll tell you in detail what happened when 3 Russian soldiers 2 of them tried to fire guns at them.
Oh, is that the one that turned them to stone? I think there was one.
So the 2 guys with the guns both got killed instantly, but not a mark on them. It's done by electromagnetics, we think. And the third one that didn't threaten and didn't have a gun, literally just lost his memory for about, an hour. No idea what happened for an hour, but was absolutely fine, untouched.
Well, what I'm getting at is, if that's the kind of being that's out there, that it makes perfect sense if you exploded atomic bombs in low Earth orbit for like an EMP blast, that would probably fuck them up pretty hard. Like they would be definitely very concerned about that. That's a different, because we're talking about a different thing now. If we're not talking about like little grays in a physical UFO craft that is like stored at Area S4, the one that Bob Lazar worked on, we're talking about something else that's more of like an organic thing, sort of like an animal, but brighter than us, and it's this whole different ecosystem.
Yeah,
and then you start exploding
life.
Atomic weapons in it. I could see how that would be a real problem for them.
I think we have to open our eyes, not just to the fact that we can only see certain light frequencies, we can only hear certain sound frequencies. We are only able to see and think in 3 dimensions. Anything over and above that, in terms of particularly non-organic life, we just dismiss it. We don't talk about it. All these new metamaterials that are coming out, these clever things like Lego bricks that look like graphite, that self-assemble and reassemble, and like the double slit experiment, if you look at them, they disassemble, they collapse right in front of you when you try and study them. All these things are beyond our perception. I mean, mine and, probably yours, but there are a lot of people who know what they're doing.
So, well, if it's a spectrum thing, there must be a way that we can construct the right apparatus to see it, right? Like there's a technological fix for that. Sorry, Xander, you were talking. Go ahead.
I was just going to go back to the point about videos and what do we do with them now? Because I'm of the same opinion as you, Dan. I think I said like probably a month after I started producing this show for you, I basically said the age of the video is kind of over. We've got 4 months or so before everything is basically up in the air. You can't believe it anymore. Yep. Certainly the magic of seeing a UFO video will always be gone now. I even if it looks completely real, almost makes it
except for the classics.
Yeah,
the classics.
The classics. Those pre.
But even a new video surfacing of a classic UFO now, I would struggle to believe. However, who doesn't actually agree with that assessment, and I would have thought that they would have agreed that basically video is meaningless now. Mick West. So
really,
yeah. The NH370 debunker.
What's Mick West got to say?
So some people here might know. I actually spoke to Mick a couple of days ago. He's.
And you said he was a great guy, though.
He's a great guy. He is. He is a nice guy.
I'm so excited
to be fair to Mick.
And so I interviewed him, and I'll be releasing that interview in full in about a week.
I'd like to see that.
He still is of the opinion that with a good enough paper trail, then video could at least be verified
That's true.
as authentic. And I still agree, though, the magic, the moment that I always wanted 10 years ago when I was scrolling through Above Top Secret of seeing the UFO and getting that moment, I don't think that's ever going to come now, unfortunately.
I just got butterflies, you talking about those old days of like, there's a new one.
Heading over to the Above Top Secret Aliens forum. I was there I've thousands of hours.
The other exception
I love watching the old war films now. I watch all the black and white old war films, and my father was ex-RAF, and he was obsessed by aviation. He had his private pilot's license, and that's probably what got me into it. But he always used to put on these black and white movies, even things like Great Escape, that started to go into colour and stuff. I just love them. I mean, I rode motorbikes. I used to race cars. I was such a tomboy. I still am. But, I just love all the old movies that just show it really how it is. And I don't like it when it's recreated into colour by AI. I just find that uncomfortable.
I think there's no mic drop evidence anymore. It has to be part of a combination of different things that all support one case. I mean, this is why official disclosure is kind of critical to a certain extent, because There is no video that's going to do it. There's no photograph that's going to do it.
A mass sighting with 100 different videos from 100 different angles at the same time would do it.
That's the only thing.
That was another point Mick actually made as well. And yeah, I kind of agree.
Yeah.
That would be good. That would raise some eyebrows.
For sure.
But we have had, that's the other thing, though. We've had mass sightings. The Battle of Los Angeles was a mass sighting. The 1953 DC UFO flap was a sighting. They didn't land on the White House lawn. They flew over it in formation. Yeah. You know, we've had gigantic pyramids spotted above the Kremlin and above the Pentagon. What are the odds? You know, and those
Ariel
videos,
School, Westall. Yeah, of course.
Ariel School. The pyramid videos were captured by multiple people in different places with different cameras at different times. And you can basically go find, you know, if you do a little sleuthing, you can find all those different angles of the same gigantic.
You mentioned that Washington one, Beatriz. Are you about to interview her? Or you have done? You certainly were talking about her. I mean, she's fascinating. I've been talking to her quite regularly because I'm trying to identify some of these anomalies. But she was saying, I don't know if you've ever heard of it. I think it's called the Mendel Gap.
Yes.
Mendel Gap. Did she explain it all? Where all these plates had been destroyed because the US sent a sort of scientist in who became head of Harvard, you know, all the rest of it, destroyed all the evidence.
Yep. But there must be plates that exist at the Vatican Observatory and at Soviet observatories. Like, why would the Soviets destroy? There's got to be other plates that can fill in that gap. I tweeted this question to her, and she didn't give me an answer. She just liked my question, and I was like, well.
Oh, well, in the video I posted today, because she's being interviewed by another guy who I think has got scientific background, they simply say nobody is allowed to touch the ones in the Vatican. They are beyond limits, but there are some. But 30% of, you know, a particular range of data of whatever were destroyed by Menzel. It just sounds
about
crazy.
10 years worth of plates from the Harvard Observatory. Only the Harvard Observatory, but they were destroyed, and any further plates were sort of you weren't really supposed to make them for about a 10-year period. It was a cost saving measure, according to Menzel.
That makes no sense.
By the way, sorry, could I just ask? Thank you so much for having me. But my rabid dogs are going to arrive, so I've got to go and deal with them.
Oh, you have to deal with your dogs. Well, that's okay. Is there anything you want to add before you take off?
No, just that I've had great fun, and I'm sorry that my technology didn't live up to expectations, and Xander's brilliance didn't even manage to solve it. So you guys are great. I love you. I might join the Discord afterwards, though. Okay.
Thanks, Nick. It was great to have you. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll have you back again whenever you want to come back on.
Okay. Bye. Bye.
All right. Yeah,
you're going to figure out how to turn it off.
The Menzel Gap thing is interesting. Danny Sheehan is fairly, I don't want to say I know that he's friends with, but he talks about the Vatican Observatory, and he has a relationship with them and with the director of the Vatican Observatory. I wonder if Sheehan knows anything about their plates, or if maybe he might know if somebody asked him.
Interesting.
He'd be an interesting person to talk to. And I also, on this same topic, I just got confirmation. I've been going back and forth with Eamon Ansbro, who is the Irish astronomer. He's the director of the Kingsland Observatory. He's the guy who found a bunch of weird objects in orbit back in the 90s. And his team was researching this, and they found all these orbital tracks where they think these things are running on an automated sort of surveillance loop. And he's going to come on the show and talk about, Beatriz's paper and some of his own work that kind of dovetails into what she's doing. So that's going to be coming up in a week or two.
Excellent. What are your thoughts on J.D. Vance, our vice president of the U.S., going to Italy to learn about some UFOs?
I mean, anything that moves the needle, I guess, is great. I mean, I guess it depends on what it turns into.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we all pretty much, we know the Vatican's got something. They probably have, more than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I guess this is what's interesting about the Trump White House, is that this is a White House that's in total control. They have complete control of all branches of government. up to and including the Supreme Court. They can literally basically just say, we want to flip over a law and the Supreme Court will rubber stamp it for them. So just do it. Right? Like, what's the, well, they're saying they want to put the information out.
Trump almost said himself, it's not up to him. So, right?
That's true. He did almost say that.
He has a lot of power, but maybe not all of it. I don't know.
Okay, so that's an interesting question. What kind of person tells Donald Trump to back the fuck down? And he's like, okay.
Someone without a title that we know of, I think. Not someone that we know. Someone that just you'll
never know who this person is.
He might not even know his name. I don't know. Who knows?
There was this documentary on the octopus murders or whatever it is. The octopus
so good.
And in that, do you remember this scene where they're talking to this one woman and she's like, this guy came in and he said he worked with the CIA or he was like an agent with the government or whatever. And he comes in and he's meeting with her and he takes out a VHS cassette tape and he puts it into her VCR and he plays it. And it's the Kennedy assassination, but from an angle that no one else has ever seen before. It's never. And she's like, he showed it to me and he goes, this is an angle that no one else has ever seen before. You're only going to see this once. And he goes, that's who we are. And then he takes the tape and leaves. And it's like one of those kind of things like, oh my God.
So think about that. Like if you put yourself in that situation, if you had important information and someone that did that to you, how do you not shut up immediately?
That's what David Grush said. David Grush said on Rogan, he said that he found a note in his kitchen. Someone had come into his house. They went into his kitchen and they put a note on his countertop. And it was like, we can get to you. We know where you, whatever, some kind of intimidating message.
On the last Weaponized, they were talking through Trump disclosing and I don't know if it was Joe Mergia or someone said like, why doesn't Trump just like put it out there? And Jeremy said like, well, because someone said, we'll just shoot you in the face like we shot Kennedy. Like simple as that. Like that could be a scenario where he wants to say something. And they said, we'll just shoot you. Like do it, but we'll shoot you in the face like we shot Kennedy.
I think that's got to be the part that freaks out the president, right? Like these are the people who are going to get you aren't coming from outside your security bubble. It'll be someone in your security bubble. You won't know who it is, but it's going to be someone that's in the room with you when you least expect it. That'll be the person who gets you. Yeah. It'll come in the middle of the night. It'll be a phone call and you'll have to go somewhere. And then that's just it. Like you'll have a heart attack.
You can't think they can get into some kind of Secret Service guy's ear and be like, start threatening that guy and be like, you got to make this happen. I mean, there's all kinds of ways.
Well, there was already the one attempt that supposedly happened where the guy, that guy was like 25 feet away. I don't know how he got that close, but where he was doing the campaign rally and the guy shot and the guy hit in the ear. Remember?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
Like,
yeah,
it happens.
Sure. That one to me also, I can chalk that up to the disorganization of the people in charge there.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, sure. Without upsetting half our audience. Yeah.
You said Grush said he found a note in his kitchen. Eskridge said similar things. She was told by Hal, I think. She had a notebook with basically all of her most important work. And she was basically told by Hal, you need to keep this under your pillow, specifically under your pillow. Don't leave it on your bedside table. Don't leave it alone for a minute. Take it with you to the bathroom. Because
that's fucking scary.
There is no way they won't take that from you.
In that interview, Amy talks about, she says one thing that's really interesting. She says many things that are interesting, but one of the things that stands out to me is... So she's talking about Huntsville, Alabama, the Rocket City, where there's so much high-tech industry and research that's going on that she said that's the number one location for foreign espionage in the United States. There are more foreign agents operating in Huntsville, Alabama than anywhere else. Now, this is according to her. So, I don't know how she knows this, but I'm assuming she knows what she's talking about. And she said, it's not like a James Bond kind of a thing where it's somebody, who's very obviously stands out as a secret agent. It's like the guy who changes the oil on your car at Jiffy Lube, or it'll be the guy who checks you in at the hotel. Or it'll be the cleaning lady. It's someone it's the person you would walk by and you'd never look at them twice. That's the person who's going to get you, or that's the person who's going to go in your house when you're not paying attention.
Quite a big super chat there from Michael Worsing. I'll show.
What was? I missed it. I'm so sorry, guys. I was rambling. Huge thanks for the awesome show. Came for the aliens, stayed for the conspiracy theories, and now I'm questioning my toaster. Is it a talkie toaster? Would you like some toast? Larry Jones. Thanks, Larry.
Good.
Any
folks.
Red Dwarf fans out there? Am I the only Red Dwarf fan?
The hell's that?
You don't know Red Dwarf?
No.
Are you kidding me? It's the funniest fucking show ever. So it was on BBC. It was it's like science fiction comedy. You don't know Red Dwarf?
I'll tell you, I've never even heard those two words put together.
Oh my god!
I thought we were bros, but I guess we're not bros.
I thought you were my brother from another mother, but I guess
December babies. Like we got so much in common. And now I feel like I don't even know you.
The Bronco thing. It's like
the Bronco thing.
It's like perfect strange. Hold on a second. I have to let my dog out. But yeah, I'll hook you up with some Red Dwarf stuff. I'll be right back.
All right, thank you so much.
Give me 2 seconds, guys.
He always turns his camera off. Always turns his camera off.
He doesn't want us. He doesn't want us to see his sexy backside.
What he's really doing.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I meant. Yeah. So I'm really pumped to hear this Mick interview. Do you know when people are going to hear it? Or is there anything you can share about it?
So yeah, it's Saturday. Next Saturday should be. It was a difficult conversation for me to have because I figured there would be no point in trying to argue specific cases. He's talked about every single one. I've talked about every single one. There's no common ground that's going to be and even then there's plenty of cases that I'm kind of on his side with.
Sure.
I'm certainly not on his side with the Fravor case, even though he I think not in the interview with me, but with other people, he said that's probably one of the most compelling that he's seen. We ended up agreeing on a lot of things. It's hard to kind of get any form of gotcha out of him. Not that I was specifically going for that, but he will not budge an inch on a lot of things, understandably, because people are going to take. Oh, I think I'm cracking up a bit.
Yeah, cracking a little bit. He's also not a very emotional person, so he does. I feel like you can't get him worked up. He's just very cool and calm all the time, where you can't really get rattled. But I want to say to you as well, I want to applaud you for even talking to him, because there's something that happens in the world now when, if you don't agree with someone, you don't even want to have a conversation. But what you're doing is exactly what all of us should be doing in all respects, as far as politically, with UFOs, with health things, with whatever. So good on you for doing that.
Thought I'd give it a go. I mean, I have heard he is a bit he's a bit like kryptonite, so the channel might go down in flames after I release it. But,
I don't think so. I don't think so.
But yeah, things we talk about. We talked at length about basically what belief is and different standards of evidence. We don't agree on every kind of standard of evidence, but then again, a lot of the stuff within ufology, we have to make inferences by basically circling the truth. I mean, that's basically what people like UAP Gerb do. They can't point at the warehouse and say, look, I've just opened this warehouse, here's the evidence. All they can do is sort of like point at the warehouse and give you all of the documentation around that, but they can't ever really open the hangar doors. And it's the hangar doors being open that I feel Mick needs at this point. He needs the hard data. And I tried to sort of find a middle ground where we could both afford to be a little bit excited without seeing complete hard evidence. But as I said, it's just not how he operates, and I understand he does that for a very specific reason. Right. He's very much that end of the spectrum, and we have our fair share on the other end that also, like, they're sort of like a product of each other.
Yeah. Is Mick a non-believer, or does he leave open the possibility and just needs proof?
Great question.
I won't put words in his mouth, I guess. You'll have to watch the interview.
Well, he's generally speaking.
I get the feeling he thinks that NHI has not visited Earth.
Okay.
That I think he's probably comfortable saying that. I don't think for 1 second he thinks that everyone's
we're alone. Okay.
He doesn't think we're alone. Absolutely not. I'm sure he thinks there's other intelligent life, probably a lot of it, but he hasn't made that leap to it visiting Earth.
Do you think, last question, because I know I don't want to spoil the interview or anything, but do you think that he's capable of being like, holy shit, I just saw something myself, or I was shown this, I was brought to a base, it's all real? Do you think he's capable of having that 180? That's cool. That's great.
I do think he is, yeah. And I tried to come up with scenarios in which a partial U-turn could happen. I couldn't get him, as I said, it's just too difficult.
Cool.
But I hope everyone sort of approaches it with an open mind. I wasn't there to just have a shouting match with the guy. Like, I think
that's
that
not your
was a productive conversation to be had. So I hope people don't see that as just like, I don't know, an attempt to pander to him, because that certainly wasn't the case.
I love that you're interviewing Mick West, because it's important that those people are part of this conversation. And when I say those people, I mean just skeptics. Like, that's the immune system. They fight off bullshit. That's what they do. Now, they're not all. Sometimes the immune system goes a little crazy and it's overactive, and sometimes you gotta dial it back a little bit. But by and large, he's just trying to get at the truth, like all of us. He has a different approach. He has higher standards for what he wants to see. Okay. I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm so glad that you interviewed him.
Likewise, yeah.
It'd be nice to sort of try and include him in the conversation a little bit more, to the extent he wants to be included, of course. But as you said, there's a reason he exists, and it's not because nobody's listening, and it's not because he's not needed in some way.
I would love to see him included in the conversation if he would participate in a way that was a little bit. If he can be a little flexible on the conversation, I think that there's a place for him in the community. I think what people don't want to hear is, you're wrong, I know all the answers and you guys are all wrong. Like, no one wants to hear that. But if he comes in and says, look, I can give you some alternative ways to think about this that might, make you second guess your conclusions. Okay.
Yeah. I will say that watching Mick's videos before, watching him explain things, well, I don't often or maybe ever believe, or I'm never swayed by what he's saying, he does make me look at things a different way. It makes me think like, okay, well, what could this be? What are the other scenarios? And he is good at making me be a little bit more objective myself, which is good. I think
the only time I saw him push back on somebody really hard, and I was like, I can't believe you're doing this. Was it David Fravor?
Yeah.
Was he arguing over the weapons camera in his weapons pod? The FLIR camera or whatever, and he was like, I'm telling you how it works, and it's like, okay, Mick,
dude, come on,
dude, you don't know what you're talking. You're out of your depth on this one. Just leave it.
You're talking to Maverick. What are you doing?
You're talking to the Top Gun guy. Like, you're not like, no one's listening to you here. Like, yeah. But okay, I mean, balls to the wall though. I mean,
shoot your shot.
Much respect.
Somebody in the chat asked if I asked him about public statements from people like Carl Nell. I did. Not specifically Carl Nell, but people with a similar pedigree in within ufology, and how do you dismiss things like that? The simple answer is, and again, I'll leave him to explain. He doesn't dismiss it. He just accepts it for what it is, and can only take it as far as what is said and the evidence that's presented, basically. He doesn't rule things out. I've never, in all of the material I've seen, he doesn't rule things out. He just says there's no evidence for it.
So to be fair to Mick, he would say something like, and I'm just guessing here, just to get your sense of it. He would say, okay, well, Carl Nell made that statement, and I take Carl Nell at his word, but I need evidence before, I still haven't seen anything.
He thinks the US government is perfectly capable of believing things like this earnestly, and even with the additional knowledge that they have, they're still capable of making mistakes. He's said crash retrieval programs may well exist. He has said that, and that's pretty much as far as he can go.
Wow.
But anyway, watch the interview, everyone.
Can't wait.
We'll have to watch the interview.
Speaking of interviews, okay, go ahead, Clint. What do you got?
I was going to mention the Luna Alzando tiff.
Let's do it.
The doxing thing. You guys want to go there? We got 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Sure.
What happened?
So, my best understanding is that Paulina Luna on Joe Rogan in that interview said that she's got a problem with like Chris Mellon and Lou Elizondo because they provided a skiff for these guys, and on the day and time they were supposed to be at the skiff to do their testimony or give their testimony, they called out sick. They were just like, "Yeah, we can't make it." And Lou pushed back on that and said, well, you changed the date on us, and then by the time you had a date, it was 3 days notice and I had to be somewhere else, and it was just like, this is all on my own dime. So that was an issue. And when he tweeted about this, pushing back, he posted a screenshot of an email that had like everybody's information in it all the way down. It's like Chris Mellon's email address and all. He kind of like doxed all these guys. And that's it. That's what I know, unless there's something new that's happened.
Yeah, that was really ridiculous. I appreciate Lou. I feel like we talk about this every couple months lately, where he just like his intentions, I think, are very good. But then he does something so silly, and you're an intelligence guy, and you just lazily thought you were redacting these email addresses and put them out, and all you do is you up-res, change the contrast and change the brightness, and now all of a sudden me, some civilian, I have David Grush's email address. I shouldn't have that. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, like, what kind of fucking intelligence agent are you? You're like Inspector Gadget. Like what? Like, you're Mr. Magoo. Like for real. Like this is ridiculous. I mean, think about it. This is on the heels of showing a photo that was clearly not a UFO, and he was telling everybody it was a UFO twice within like 3 weeks of each other. He got busted with fake photos, and then he's like doxing all these people by accident. Just a total. I don't know if it was an accident or if it was just, whatever, but it was a mistake that someone of his background, if you read his book and the way that he tells you what his background is, you should imagine this as impossible. There's no way he could make this many mistakes.
Right.
So something's weird.
It depends if, I guess, he's not been in that capacity in government for a while, and obviously technology's changed. So I'm kind of willing to forgive the technological faux pas every now and then. I just think he could benefit greatly from just instituting one rule, which is before you post anything online or before you say anything publicly, just leave it 24 hours.
Yeah.
Just think about it, sleep on it. The world isn't going to crash and burn in the 24 hours. Like it will benefit more greatly if because we're talking about the emails now rather than the contents of that. If he'd waited overnight, sent it to a buddy to check,
that's it.
They may have said, we do that with each other. We send things before we say what we're going to be talking about in different episodes and things like that. And part of that is so that we can sort of hold each other to not to account, but to sort of test the waters on certain things.
But to account, to account is the right word. Yeah. And just get a read. Like, hey, I'm excited about this. Here's what I'm thinking. What do you guys think? I'm too excited to even think about it. So what do you guys think? Sometimes Lou reminds me of Homer Simpson. And one of my favorite clips from The Simpsons is Homer goes to the gun store to buy a gun. And the guy, he brings it to the counter, he goes to pay for it, and the guy's like, okay, there's a 7-day wait, come back in a week. And Homer goes, oh, but I'm angry now. And that's what that's kind of what Lou does, which is I appreciate his enthusiasm, but like, yeah, man, give it a second.
The other reminder, there's a scene from The Office, the American Office, where Michael Scott wants to...
The real one.
Yeah, it is the better one, to be fair. I don't like it.
I know, the first one's great, though. Anyway.
he says he wants to adopt a baby based on seeing an Oprah episode, and Pam says, "Why don't you just give it until this afternoon, or wait until the end of the month?" And he's like, "Wait till the end of the month? I don't know if I want a baby in a month."
There you go. Perfect. That's brilliant. It's so perfect.
This is the tweet that people were talking about. I think this is the one. Yeah, can you see that when I blow it up there?
Mm-hmm.
I sincerely apologize for the late notice, but due to the ever influx congressional schedule and some conflicts, we need to shift the non-governmental briefing to the week of May 12th. We will reach back out with a new date that hopefully will work for everyone. Look forward to seeing you all on Thursday. So this is the email that Lou got. I guess it went out to, let's see, Christian William, David Grush right here, Luis Elizondo, Chris Mellon, Eric Davis, and Tim Gallaudet, all in one email. And then it's like he just kind of scribbled it out with the little marker tool or whatever.
He did the one swipe. You got to go back and forth, dude. You got.
Oh wow! Really... Even Apple can read it through this. Like I'm just highlighting it. Oh, that's not good.
It's not good. It's not good. Someone so
this is my problem when these people are like national security. I'm like, we have none. With you fucking jokers in charge, like there's no national security. You can't use that and then do shit like this. I don't believe you guys really are competent.
Someone in one of our other group chats made a comment about like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's just these people's, it's their government email addresses. It's not their personal ones. And I was like, well, okay, fine. But like, look at the heading of that email. Can you pull that back up? I think it says classified UAP hearing. I mean, still, those are important email addresses going, and look at the heading of that, classified UAP briefing. You don't just send those to just random emails. Yeah.
Compose email. Yep, it just automatically opened a window with that email address in it. Oops.
Wow.
Whoopsie daisy.
See if they want to join the stream.
Call me Mr. Butterfinger. Let's get Tim Gallaudet here. Let's see if we can email. All right. Well, we'll get our booking people to reach out to Tim Gallaudet and David Grush. We'll see if we can get them on the show now that we have their emails. We'll let them know Lou gave them to us.
Hey, Dave Grush, want to come on Doomer Friday?
The other problem, it's not just the fact that it's a work email address. It's now the fact that their work inboxes are just going to be completely unworkable when they're trying to work and when they're being paid by the American taxpayer. Yeah. And they've got 1,000 emails each morning that they need to sift through before they get to the ones that could actually make some sort of difference in any of this.
I would love to see the text messages that Lou is getting now. And I'm not piling on Lou. I like Lou. I really do. I appreciate all he's done, but I would love to see the messages of like, dude, what the fuck, man? I got 16,000 emails this morning.
It's a bad look. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, like, I'm no intelligence expert by any stretch, but I mean, this is exactly what everybody says they cannot do. We can't give that information out.
What do you think about Luna taking shots though, of making a statement like that?
Taking shots at Lou?
Well, she didn't say, like, this is her big thing, is she didn't say Lou specifically, but she talks about the guys that didn't show up for the skiff. And then she made a comment about like, we have an open door policy on skiffs. Anybody that wants one can get one. And everyone's like, well, what about David Grush's that we've been waiting for 2 years? Like, don't say that you can do a skiff anytime you want when the one we want hasn't happened in 2 years.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, like, what is the real story? And there's what she's saying, and then there's whatever, the truth is, and somewhere in between her and what Lou have to say. I'm know.
Interested in. She talked specifically about the evidence that convinced her being photographic. So, what has she seen on a photograph that makes her convinced? Let's throw Interdimensional.
Could be video. Could be video. Yeah.
And what is the pathway? I don't think Joe Rogan asked this question, but what is the pathway to, like, having a skiff meeting is one thing, and seeing photos that are classified of things you can't explain is something else. And certainly, like, seeing evidence that something non-human is here is important. And it's like, oh my God, it's a cool thing to be able to say, but then where do you go from there? What is the next step? And ultimately, what is the end objective here of all of this? I mean, Paulina Luna kind of stops in that interview, at least as far as I could tell, with they just say we don't have clearance, and that's it. And so we go home. Like we went to Eglin Air Force Base or whatever it was, and her and Matt Gaetz or whatever, and we're on the committee that's supposed to have oversight over this very thing, and they just turned us around at the gate and they said, sorry, you don't have clearance. So we were like, okay, and we just went home. So is that it? I mean, is that just where it stops, or is there some kind of other process that needs to happen? And how do we get on board with that? How do we push that forward?
That's the battle, right?
I guess so.
As much as hang on, I'm getting way too much latency on my microphone. We'll gamble with a lower sample rate. As much as I'm fascinated by all of the stuff going on in Washington, I don't see disclosure coming from Washington. Even if the president was suddenly really interested in what Luna knows, maybe let's assume the president sees what Luna sees and is convinced. I don't expect him to jump on a camera and say it. And that's really kind of like what we're all expecting the government disclosure to look like is Trump or whoever's next to stand in front of a podium and declare to the world. I think we're never going to see that.
I expect another country does it first. I don't think the U.S. will do it. I think it will be another country as far as an official government.
I could see China doing it, because imagine China just wants to completely dunk on the United States once and for all. I mean, they want to become the global economic superpower, the military superpower. I mean, if they were to say we've also reverse engineered successfully non-human technology and we're in contact with these beings, that puts them, the United States has no answer for that. Like, how do we can't, there's nothing we could say. What's interesting, though, about that is when you go back and listen to some of these older cases, and I'm thinking particularly of like Jonathan Weygandt, Lance Corporal John Weygandt. He said that this is the guy who was deployed he was a Marine deployed in Peru for this drug interdiction thing, and they were manning this anti-aircraft, position, and they had supposedly shot something down, and his unit was sent out to secure this crash. They were thinking that it was an aircraft that had been brought down, maybe moving drugs or something. But when they got there, they found out it was this gigantic non-human craft, this huge thing leaking this glowing ooze, like Ninja Turtle ooze. And he said that the recovery team that came in and descended on that area was enormous. He was like, they had these gigantic C-130 Hercules aircraft, these huge Chinook helicopters. They were bringing, dozens and dozens of guys in suits, like hazmat suits. And then he said when he was arrested, zip-tied, put into, a helicopter and taken to a base where he was debriefed. And while he was there, he was like, and the weirdest thing, and this dude was just like salt of the earth, Southern guy, high school education, probably got into the Marines, enlisted, dude, and just regular guy. And he's like, but when I went to that base, I saw people from all over the world. There were Russians there. There were Chinese there. There were, people from everywhere, all working at this one place. It was the weirdest little statement of everything he said. And he's not the only one who said that. Other people have said that too. They say at S4, there's Russians, there's Chinese. So maybe, that question is, would another country disclose first, or is there some kind of like behind the scenes agreement where they are maybe working together on some of this stuff?
Sure.
Because that would be huge.
What was the Canadian guy, Canadian Minister of Defense or whatever, McGuire, who had that memo of like
Hellier?
No, not Hellier. This is a couple years ago. McGuire, what's his name? Anyway, there was a memo, a leaked memo, where he was talking to people in the Canadian government about, we have an opportunity here to like get out ahead of this and get ahead of the U.S. and save face for Canada. Like, we should start talking about our programs and start thinking about disclosing and get ahead of the rest of the world. Like, we have a chance to step forward as Canadians to take a hold of this thing. This is like last year.
Awesome if it was the Canadians.
It was.
I hope it is the Canadians.
He's the one that said it. McGuire. Someone in the chat must know.
You know what? There'd be no better group than the Canadians to take the lead on this. They're nice people.
They give us John Candy, The Kids in the Hall, and Disclosure.
Bill Shatner.
Yeah, there you go.
Poutine.
Poutine.
I mean, what's not to love? Strange Brew. They're great.
Yeah.
They're the people. I mean, America's scary, but Canada, I could see that. There's more to this tweet. Somebody pointed out in the chat. They were like, you need to scroll down on the replies on that tweet. So I've got this pulled up on the screen.
Larry McGuire. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
So this is Lou's original tweet, and if you scroll down, then Paulina Luna replies, and she says, a strange and frankly bizarre post from someone I didn't even name, Lou Elizondo. You have my number, yet you went on X instead of contacting me directly. What are you guys, 12? We've been coordinating with the same organization you were part of, only to learn after the UAPDF roundtable that you had left. Correct me if I'm wrong. Regardless, you could have still come to the skiff at any time. As I told you, we'd work around your schedule. Let this be a lesson for all UAP whistleblowers. We have an open skiff policy. If you have information to share, we will gladly host you. Now, Lou handled this. How Lou handled this wasn't just immature. It was odd, especially since I never mentioned him I remember her saying Lou.
Not on Rogan, but that's the skiff flu only referred to a couple people, and he's one of them. So she didn't say his name on Rogan, but like that is who she meant. Yeah.
The fact is, he never returned despite our willingness to host him. And yes, I'll extend the invitation now. If you have anything, come in and brief us. We will get the skiff. It is 100% on you.
Did she not also make the same mistake with the email?
Did she?
The email? I think maybe I've just dreamt that. I feel like maybe she made the same mistake. It's our good friend Pavel. There he is.
Pavel's just trying to hang in.
You got to tell me when you're
sorry.
Switch that.
Also, she's full of shit. That skiff thing. That's not completely true. I mean, they maybe want people to come in for skiffs, but they can't get anybody they want in there. Right?
Well, if they could, then none of this would be an issue, right? Like, we wouldn't have a problem.
And again, why hasn't David Grush been in there in 2 years? Or he has, we don't know about it. But like, as of a year and a half ago, he had not been in there yet. And in that July 26th hearing in 2023, he was like, get me in a skiff. I'll talk. Like, let's get in there. And then it never happened.
Do you feel like that's tied at all to the ongoing legal action that he's taking?
Don't know. And that legal action is over now, right?
It's barely begun.
Wait.
I think
something was. Oh no, the what was dropped? One of his cases was dismissed.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure. Well, for a start, I'm pretty sure he's appealing that. But
good.
Yeah. The last I checked, just because I did the David Grush episode at the Dreamland Motel like last month or something. Last I checked, that's the start of a very long road still. So whilst he may win something like that eventually, if the intention was to smear him and then sort of just keep him somewhere else for a few years, that's definitely working. It might be that, it might not be, but that would be my interpretation, because I don't think Paulina Luna is stopping it.
Well,
is Chrissy Newton in the chat? Chrissy, are you here? Hang on a second. Living Life Consciously with Hello Allie. Oh, check out my video with Canadian UFO researcher Chrissy Newton live in 2 hours.
Another Canadian. Look at that.
See, more Canadians. Chrissy Newton's great. I just saw Chrissy Newton in the chat. I saw the name and I was like, is she in our chat? We will check that out.
She'd be fun on here sometime.
She'd be great. She's great.
Yeah.
Oh, you know who else wants to come on? Patrick. He wants to come over from Vetted. Join the panel for a day. Yeah.
Oh, snap. Cool.
He's got an invitation. He's got an open chair anytime.
What a bombshell.
So we just got it. It's a bombshell. I know. You heard it here first. We can roast him on the bombshell thing. He's actually.
Of course we can.
I did roast him the other day a little bit.
I want to steal his move. Hold on. What's going on, guys? He always has to pull the mic into frame. What's going on, guys?
You got to have a thing. Everybody's got to have a thing.
There's a sock puppet somewhere as well.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, my God. Oh, guys. Well, we're running out of time here. Is there anything else we wanted to get into before we wrap it up for the day? Because I think that's all I have on my list. We didn't get into Beatriz at all, but I feel like
a little bit, I guess, with the Menzel gap thing.
Do you want to
coming
talk?
up?
You want to talk real quick about the fact that I don't know, we all might be meeting in person sometime soon? I don't know.
I don't know if we can talk about that. I was going to talk about it, and then Xander was like, "No, you can't say anything."
Well, I don't know. We'll talk about it off air, and then.
Oh, I thought you said you could. Okay.
I said it's possible to talk.
All right, cool. All right. Just kidding.
Yeah.
So
might be some special
That's a Ross Coulthart tease right there.
I know something. It's going to blow you.
Clint, your Wrangler just showed up.
My Wrangler, my assistant is here. He's ready to whisk me away.
Hey, dudes.
To play Legos. I have a Lego injury. You can't really see it. Oh, there it is. He gouged me in the head with a Lego the other day.
You probably deserved it.
I did. I had it coming. All right, guys. Well, thanks for sticking around with us. I know it was a late start today, but it was worth it. We had to find our footing. But once we did, I think we had a great show. We learned a lot about UFOs, UAPs, NHI, and each other. And I think that's really what it's all about. Maybe the real aliens were the friends we made along the way. Think about that. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It doesn't cost anything. It only takes a second, and it really does help the channel. Don't forget to like and share this video. Leave a pithy remark or comment below. And thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Until then, keep looking up.